This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. I am delighted to be here helping you with playing the guitar. In this quick answer episode, I'm going to be explaining alternate tunings. So I'll especially be looking at sort of the normal ones that we see most often, and other things that happen are like it or just a variation of it. So there's 4 types up here on the board. The first one is equally lowering all the strings. This works sort of in reverse of the capo. We have drop D, where we just lower the low E string down to a D. We've got the open D, where we actually tune all the strings so that when we strum it openly, it strums as a G, or it sounds as a D chord, a D major chord. And then there's the open G, where when we strum all the strings, it sounds like an open G chord. So, and then there's other types of open tunings, like if you run into an open E, it's going to follow the same pattern as open D. Everything's just going to be one whole step higher, for example. So you could run in to G sharp or A flat. It's probably going to follow G, that sort of thing. So, or you may run into something like C, and they're going to have similarities. We create an open chord, but they all come out of these, and they become a variation of them. So equally lowering the strings, I won't actually do this one, but the 2 things that we sometimes run into is where every single string is lowered by a half step. So E down to E flat. Maybe I should, just to give us an idea. E flat or D sharp, and then your A goes down to A flat or G sharp. Helps to have a tuner that can do chromatics. D goes down to D flat or C sharp. And then G goes down to G flat or F sharp, depending on how your tuner shows it. And then B goes down to B flat or A sharp. And then E goes down to D sharp or E flat. So down by the equivalent of 1 fret or a half step. This works just like capo, only in reverse. So all my chord shapes work. The guitar sounds a little out of tune because the strings they need to be adjusted until it gets used to being in that lower tuning. But you can use the same chord shapes, they just all sound a little bit lower. So G, C, D, all the normal chords that we can use anywhere, everything's just 1 half step lower, and we run into D. And I've played some tunes one time where I thought, does it really matter if I downtune the guitar and it just that whole step or that half step that you go sometimes just puts the voice in the right spot, or just puts the chords in the key that makes it just resonate for that particular song. So the alternate besides this one is to go down a whole step from the E, meaning we go down to D, we go down to A. I'm working in reverse, so D and A, and then we go down to F, and you go down to C instead of D. You go down to G, and you go down to D. Now you could go lower. All my strings want to creep back up, but you could go lower, but you start to get where the strings are just too loose and the guitar can't quite handle the waves, the sound waves at that lower pitched place. So get into a baritone guitar if you want to sound too low or too much lower. But that's how those work, and all the chord shapes work the same. Nothing really changes. We're just in a different key, the same as with a capo. I need to come back to drop D because I just changed them all for us to see what that one is like. That one, everything is the same except the low 6th string. So I'm going to come while we're down here and do open D. So everything with open D gets tuned to an open D chord. A D chord has D, F sharp, and A. So our low 6th string becomes a D, which I am at. Our 5th string stays on the A. My guitar doesn't want to be there, so I got to take it back up to an A because I just pulled it down. And then the C, I've got mine at the C, but the D string stays as a D. So this D string stays as a D. The only one it doesn't is in this one changing it. Otherwise, in all the other tunings, it stays. My 6th string, or my 3rd string, sorry, needs to be an F sharp. So I had to raise it up from F to F sharp because that's where I was at. That 5th string, or that 2nd string, I'm working backwards, is an A pitch, and then our top string is a D. So you get D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. And this is the cool tuning. It's my personal favorite, I think, just because of how wide. I have an arrangement, I Know My Redeemer, He Lives, done in this tuning. A lot of the solo guitar playing that's done with slapping and tapping, Andy McKee type stuff and so on, is done in open tunings. You get the harmonics ringing really great in open tuning. So with D, this is what becomes awesome, is if you bar your finger at the 1st fret, it's D sharp or E flat, F sharp or G flat, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, C sharp or D flat, D. So you just have to lay your finger down in a bar to get a major chord. This tuning is also used a lot with slide playing. So that's the open D tuning. Love that tuning. Let's look at open G. It's slightly different. The low 6th string has to be a D pitch. The 5th string gets dropped down to a G. So I'm doing G sharp. So you have the low 6th string as a D instead of an E, G instead of an A. Then you keep that D. Then our 3rd string stays as a G. The 2nd string stays as a B. And the top string is dropped down to a D. Now, this is also an open tuning, but it puts the 5th of the chord on the bottom if you strum all 6 strings. So if you strum the top 5, you get a G chord. G, D, G, B, D. This is a very banjo-y tuning. And it works the same. All I gotta do is bar across the strings. And if I play across the top 5, I'll get a root position chord, a chord that has the root on the bottom. If I do all 6, I put the 5th on the bottom. So it's great for stuff like, you can grab that. And this one is a tuning that's used a lot with blues stuff where we're using a slide, I should say. But yeah, you can bar the chords. Stuff, slap and tap stuff. This one is used a lot with the slide, and when we're playing bluesy and kind of wanting those open chord sounds. So it's as simple as that. There are variations of these. If it's something that's a half step or a whole step away from one of these, chances are we're going to be using the same interval relationship, so the same type tuning thing, but we just be going a little bit further or a little bit less as far as dropping. You could even raise it, but the strings probably could raise the strings up to F if we wanted to, but these two are the most common ones. Now drop D, if I go back and I'm in regular tuning again, so I gotta fix of these strings. Drop D just lowers the 6th string down to a D. And it's great for playing in D because you get that low D ringing with a D chord, so it works great. Now with this one, any chord that we play in first position that uses the 6th string, that has to be altered so you're 2 frets higher. So for example, if I would normally play F, that's not going to work. I'm going to have that low note go 2 frets higher. So I got to change my shape. When I normally play G like so, I'm going to have to go 2 frets higher. I'm going to need to mute that 5th string because having the hands to reach across all those is a little bit too involved. But when I'm playing a D, play across all of them. If I was playing an E chord, I got to go 2 frets higher, so I have a finger on that low 6th string. So we have to change those, but that one gets used a lot in fingerstyle, and it's great in the key of D because we get that D, A, D, A, D, F sharp. It really opens it up. Okay, I hope that introduction into alternate tunings helps. Take care. We'll see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.